Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been with me since January of 2023, you will know that Embracing the Fight is about normalizing the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. Now, why would I do a podcast like that? Think about it. You've got, people that's walking past you on the street and you don't know exactly what they're dealing with. But then the next thing you know, you're looking on the news and there's someone that's driving a car through a crowd of people or someone who's just shooting, a bunch of children. Or there are crazy things like a man setting a wildfire after there's already many, many fires that have grown in California. What will possess a person to do that? It's because I believe they didn't have any outlet, anyone to talk to. They felt like they were being judged and they felt like this was their last resort. But I can't speak for those people. I need you as my guest to come on and tell me about the things that you are dealing with and struggling with. This is a safe place, a place where you are allowed to give your testimony without judgment, because your testimony will allow others to heal. Now that I've gotten all the business out of the way, have you clicked subscribe? Have you clicked like? Have you clicked share? Have you even talked about embracing the fight around the water cooler? If not, shame on you. You should, because it's designed to help you. What what value do you get by not giving out something that's free? Think about it. It's free, it's good information, it's healthy, it's wonderful for you. You should want to give it away. This is the best free gift that you can ever give. Now, as you can see, I have a very beautiful young woman on the screen, and I'm going to allow her this moment to introduce herself and to tell how we met. So, how are you, gorgeous?
Namaste. How are you, Miss Erica?
I am great, thank you.
I'm so glad I was able to come here and join you on this wonderful journey. My name is Alise Jones. I am a yoga teacher. I help people who struggle with trauma, stress, PTSD, anxiety, and depression to heal themselves through meditative yoga. We're healing the mind, the body, the soul, and the heart. And that is what I do. So, yes, I do have online classes. I do have a website. I'm looking to actually open a brick and mortar soon. So, hopefully, I'll be able to see you guys there with me. Woohoo! Yeah.
You'll be able to do it. I'm cheering for you.
Thank you. Thank
Now,
you.
anyone who comes on Embrace the Fight, people always ask, well, how in the world did you meet her? How do you know her? So, how exactly did we meet?
So, me and you had met on a 5-day master course challenge through Miss Joy Hunt, See You at the Bank challenge. I joined specifically because I wanted to learn how to grow my business and to be able to, foster.
Mhm.
ChatGPT taught me that one. Foster a better opportunity for my financial growth. So that's exactly how we joined, and that's how we met.
Okay. And as always, my guests get to choose the title of the episode, and her title is episode 103, Learning How to Be Okay with Being Okay. So, what does that even mean? I mean, because if you're okay, why do you have to learn how to be okay with being okay?
So the way that I explain it to my students is that majority of them deal with stress, obviously.
Mhm.
A lot of them say that they're okay, they're putting that mask on,
Right.
but truly on the inside, they're struggling, they're suffering, they're just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And if somebody asks them, like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And honestly, inside, they're going through so much turmoil, and they're trying to hold it together, and they're breaking down outside of the public.
Mhm.
So for me, with learning how to be okay with being okay, is truly saying at the heart of its core,
Mhm.
I know for a fact that I'm struggling with blank.
Mhm.
And because I'm struggling with blank, I'm learning how to blank,
Okay.
right? And this allows you to be able to tap into your mind and really come forth and really reach out to yourself
Mhm.
and figure out what is the issue that you have and how can you fix it and how can you adjust it, so that way you are actually moving through life with a lot more confidence, a lot more self-love, a lot more patience, a lot more appreciation than what you have. Because a lot of people don't realize that you yourself, where you are right
Mhm.
now, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
I right right hand, right left hand, right hand to God. We all know that we have been in a worse place than where we are right here and right now in this space.
Right.
And I want to give you my story. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So back, oh, I'm gonna go a few years back, but I'm gonna give it to you in like, I'm gonna give it to you real quick. Um, Back in 2013,
Mhm.
I was in an abusive relationship.
Okay.
And this abusive relationship lasted about 3.5 years.
Wow.
I did not know how to ask for help. I
Mhm.
did not know how to communicate my feelings. I did not know how to get myself out of that situation. I wound up being evicted with $3,000 in debt and a broken heart, lost confidence, loss of self. I stayed single for about six years. And then, during 2017, I would say um, I wind up having a really, really bad mental breakdown. I was having seizures. I was in severe depression. I had PTSD. I had SI, also known as suicidal ideations. I don't know if I could say the word suicide on
Yeah,
here.
you can.
Um, I was having suicidal thoughts.
Mhm.
I was losing myself.
Mhm.
At the time, I was so depressed and so stressed out that I hated everything and everyone. I didn't like the sun. If I saw the sun, I would like growl at it. And
Mhm.
I was like, no, ew, get away from me. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be held. I don't like anybody. I'm cursing people out. I'm losing my mind.
Mhm.
And during that year in 17, God had stripped me bare,
Mhm.
took the house, took the car, took the job, took everything.
Wow.
And he sat me down. And this is during the eclipse, by the way, the eclipse of 2017 that passed over Charlotte, North Carolina, because
Mhm.
that's where I am. Hello, Charlotte. Um, but during that eclipse, he
Mhm.
sat me down and he said, I am asking you to listen. I'm asking you to be here. How could I save you from yourself if you
Wow.
do not believe that I exist as your God? How can you say, God, help me, but you don't believe in your heart that I'm with you?
Mhm.
How could I do anything for you if you don't believe in me, if you don't believe in yourself? And I cried and I said, God, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be sad and depressed and stressed out and miserable. I don't want to be this. What can I do? What do I need to do? Who am I? Why do I even exist on this earth? What is my purpose?
Mhm.
And God said to me, I created you to be a yoga teacher to help the world. There are people who have the same emotions as you, as the same struggles with the anxiety, depression, the PTSD, the panic disorder, the suicidal ideation, ADHD. All six I'm diagnosed with
Mhm.
through a psychiatrist.
Mhm.
I'm diagnosed with all six. But God said to me, I put you through this on purpose.
Wow.
Because if you did not have this in your heart, you can't help other people. You don't know how to help other people if you don't struggle.
Mhm.
And I said, God, I see it, but I don't understand why. And he said, you'll see it. Just trust and believe that I'm with you. Now, mind you, this is a conversation I'm having in a dream.
Mhm.
I'm in a dream and I'm talking to God, and as I see God in my dream, it's this gold, glowing, beautiful entity.
Mhm.
Was neither a man, was neither a woman, was neither a child, just an entity, a soul, a spirit.
Mhm.
And it touched me and it poked me right here in the middle of my head. That's why you see this gold bindi.
Mhm.
Poked me in my forehead, and I woke up from the dream with like just a gasp of deep breath, like I've been shocked
Mhm.
back to life. I was shocked back to life. And I woke up and I started studying and just started going and going and learning. And I was still stumbling along the way. I was still struggling along the way. And then going towards COVID,
Mm-hmm.
during COVID, I meditated for 3 months straight. No social media, no TV,
Oh.
no cell phones, no interacting with people. I shut down and said, okay, God, me and you, what do I need to do? And I dove in, and it was so enlightening to sit there with all of these negative thoughts that were floating in my mind and start picking them off one by one, just one by one, analyzing them, understanding them, and then questioning them. Like, okay, well, why do I think that? Did someone tell me that? Is that really my true feelings? Why am I having these moments in myself where I'm disconnected from the world? Why am I having these moments where I'm shutting down? Why am I having these moments where I'm flipping out? What is going on? What is this turmoil internally in my mind that is causing such a mass amount of destruction internally and externally?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, during meditation, I started to figure it out. And a lot of my students will say, they'll say, well, Guru, I don't know how to meditate. I don't even know where to begin. And a lot of people don't realize, it's funny, Miss Erica, because
Mm-hmm.
people think meditation is you sitting down and going, Om. That's what I think it is. But truly, the Om, which it's OHM,
Mm-hmm.
is the highest vibration of the internal sound of the soul. It resonates at 369 hertz,
Mm-hmm.
like 30, 60, 90 minutes, or 369 on the clock. The way that the body is broken down is into the sacred number of 369.
Okay.
Okay. I won't get into all that because that's a long conversation. But the sound of Om is 369. It's a deep, deep resignation with the alignment of your soul and alignment of the earth and alignment of God in the spiritual realm. So anything that goes through us is our chakra system, which connects from the earth up to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing your Om and when you're doing your meditation, it allows you to center yourself and to knock off other things that you're hearing around you.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Wow.
in the middle of meditating, a lot of people will say, well, I have this thought and I have that thought, and this is passing by and that's passing by.
Oh.
That's okay. When you're meditating, the thoughts are passing by you as if it's a movie. And I tell people, look at your thoughts like a movie. Don't react to them, because when you react, then you're engaging in the movie, and now you're an actor in that movie, and that's why you're flipping out.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of being in that nature of reacting to the movie, you're watching it. You're allowing it to pass by you, and you say, okay, I'm going to take that into consideration. Do I accept this or do I let it go? And when you accept it and you say, okay, I know that this has happened to me. I know for a fact that I'm working on this. I will let this go and I will continue to move forward, but I will keep it in my mind that this is something that I'm working on.
Yep.
And you let it pass. And then another thought comes and the same thing happens. You evaluate it and then you let it pass. And that is how you meditate, by learning what your mind is thinking and learning what your mind is seeing or hearing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my students, they'll say to me, Miss Erica, they'll say, well, what passes through your mind? I say, well, things I got to do. Like everybody else,
right?
My to-do list, but mainly what I hear in my head is music. I choose to hear music in my head.
Okay.
A lot of other people will say, well, I hear, this or I hear that or anything. I'm like, choose something that makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I like music. I will hear song after song after song, just a natural born playlist in my mind. That takes up at least 70% of my thoughts is music. Mm-hmm. The other 30% of my thoughts are things I have to do. And then I have 10%. My math is off, right? And then I have 10% of negative thoughts. Mm-hmm. Because it's funny, people will say, well, you're supposed to be a guru. Aren't you supposed to have like no negative thoughts and like no negative emotions? But it's like, I'm human.
Right.
I'm human. I am a spirit having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm just going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I've narrowed down 70% of just negativity down to 10% negativity
Good.
is a jump.
Mm-hmm.
That is a jump and a half.
It is.
Okay. A jump, hop, and skip, let's say, right? A
Yep.
little bit of flying too. Okay. But to have that much negativity narrowed down to a sliver of
Mm-hmm.
negativity that floats in your mind is a massive difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the more that you meditate, the more that you take time within your mind, the easier it becomes for you. The less stress that you have, the more you're able to evaluate your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and then life becomes a lot simpler.
Right. So
Yeah.
I have a few questions to ask based off of where you started and, where you've ended concerning meditation. Now, your story is very, very similar to mine in a sense, because when you said 3 years, it took me 3 years to divorce and get out of an abusive, like,
Mm.
ugh, very bad situation with my ex-husband. But what resonated with me was the fact that both of us stayed 3 years. Now, my reason for staying as long as I did was because I was modeling or trying to model my marriage after what I saw my parents do. But
Mm.
dad never treated my mom that way.
Mm.
That not the way that my ex-husband was treating me.
Mm.
My dad never did anything like that. They didn't talk to each other crazy, none of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But my ex-husband was physically abusive as well as mentally abusive.
Wow.
And I was telling myself at one point that, you marry somebody, they say, for better or worse. And I was starting with the worst, and it was like it's just getting worse. It's not
Yep.
getting better.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was using my parents as an example because they stayed together, they're still together now. They've been together, it'll be 55 years in April.
Mm.
My question to you is, what made you stay those 3 years? What in your life previously made you hold on to an abuser?
I think it was a lack of self-love. For me personally, I didn't love myself. I didn't care for myself. I wasn't shown love as a child. I if I go further back,
Mhm.
at the age of 5, I started to deal with abuse from family members and friends of the family. I was just struggling with abuse. I was never shown love.
Mhm.
My mom was physically there, but not emotionally there. My grandmother physically there, but verbally abusive.
Mhm.
And I never had someone show me love. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is what love is. If if I grew up, someone showing me that this is what love is, then I'm going to think this is what love is, and this is how I'm supposed to be treated because I don't know any better.
Mhm.
And it doesn't help when your family is the exact same way.
Right.
Now, for your situation, I would think that if I was in that position where my parents never was like that, but my husband was, I would question what was the reason why I thought that the relationship was so valuable, even though I could tell that this person didn't care about me, because I know for a fact my parents never had this. What about this person particularly made me say I needed to stay? I needed to work this through.
Mhm. Oh, I can tell
What?
you. I can tell
Mm,
you what it was. It was purely the fact that I would feel like I'd be totally embarrassed. Like, man, I ain't made it 3 years.
the
Here,
fear,
here you
the
got this
fear.
great example, and you accepted this foolishness, and you brought this on yourself. So either sit in and fix it or get out. And it was like, okay, I'm gonna try to fix it. But you can't fix something that somebody else doesn't want to fix.
Right. And then
So
you also have to think about he himself doesn't know any better. And
mm-mm.
that's something that I had to recognize in my relationships with people, is that that person doesn't know any better.
Right.
They don't know what love is supposed to be. They don't know how they're supposed to treat somebody.
Mhm.
They don't know how to communicate in a relationship. They don't know.
Mhm.
So as much as we want to be angry at them, we have to give them some kind of grace, because
Right.
that person is suffering internally and taking it out on you because they don't know any better.
Right.
Now, someone could say, well, that's a grown adult. They should know, what you're supposed to do left and right. And you
Right.
know right from wrong. And that's true. Like, right from wrong. But so
Mhm.
many people don't understand how to control their thoughts. They
Right.
don't know how to pull themselves out of that negative emotion. Instead of, let me back up. What I try to explain to my students is, when you are having a moment
Mhm.
where your emotions are overriding your natural capability, you
Mhm.
need to try your hardest to snap out of it and step back and say, whoa,
Right.
I am out of character. I am out of alignment with myself. I'm so far out of alignment that I don't even know what's happening right now. And I'm just reacting instead of thinking.
Mhm.
And that is something I had to teach myself, because I didn't have that skill. Oh, I
Right.
was flipping lids, throwing chairs, breaking walls, I
You
was
tearing it up.
losing it. I was tearing it up, okay? Call 911 because the house is on fire.
Oh
It was
God.
bad, bad. Okay, like, it was really bad. But
Mhm.
I had to realize that the negative responses is me getting in fight or flight mode, because
Right.
I'm fearful and I'm scared and I'm trying to handle this. I'm trying to solve this and I don't know how to solve it. I was
Right.
in therapy from 2019 to last year.
Mhm.
No joke. I was in therapy the entire time.
But
I
that's
didn't I didn't know how to get any of these skills until I started going to therapy and learning how to cope and learning how to handle, my communication better with people. It was just a struggle.
mhm.
So I would say that, just, I know it's hard for to deal with an abusive person, but
Mhm.
you have to recognize that they don't know any better.
Oh yeah.
They just don't.
Oh yeah. I mean, I figured all of that out, prior to me leaving. Because
Mhm.
that was the other part of it. It was like, okay, I knew all the different things that he had been through, growing up, and I knew the things that had happened to him, as an adult. And he was a police officer, so it was like the PTSD
Oh,
work and all that. I understood all of that, but
right.
the part that I didn't understand, we went to therapy,
Mm,
talked these things through, and the whole time he was pretending like he was a victim.
mm,
That was a part that I just I couldn't stomach it. It was like, you can do all these things and inflict all these things, but now we're here and you're the victim in
mm,
our marriage when I haven't done anything, to you to harm you. If
mm,
anything, I've prayed with you, I've sat with you, I have, helped to wipe out all your bills. I've tried to instill in you that you can do anything your heart desires. Because he was like, well, when I retire, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And
right.
I'm like, I'm right here. I was everything that I saw in my mom. My mom was like the pillar of strength. Anything that happened, she was like the backbone. You didn't see her just lose her cool. Now she lost cool one time.
Mm,
That's a whole other story. My uncle was having a stroke and she was just kind of, running all over the
yeah,
place. And I
yeah.
was there and I was the one making the calls and stuff. But at that moment, I knew that there was a shift, that I was going to have to be, the pillar for someone
Mm,
someday.
mm,
And seeing her be like that, that's just how I was. I'm not a judgmental person. I didn't sit there and say, oh, you did all these things and you got this many kids, you're doing this, you're doing that. I don't want you. It wasn't anything like that. He showed me true love when I first met him.
mm,
But then it all just exploded once we got together. I was like, what? This is not even the same person. But once I got past those 3 years, I was just like, no, I forgive you. I pray that the Lord changes your heart. And the next person or whoever you decide to deal with, that you somehow find that inner person and forgive that inner person that has
right,
done all these things, or the people who've done things to you, forgive them so you don't take it out on the person that truly does love you.
right.
But with that, the next thing that you were saying, you were listing all the different disorders that you've been, treated for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, I always say, and this is just my thoughts. I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I don't have any medical anything, but I do have a Black mother.
Mm,
And she always said, it's not what you're called, it's what you answer to.
absolutely.
The words that you say, the things that you speak, you give that life,
Hmm.
in your life. Now, of course, I know, some people have chemical imbalances and you have
Hmm.
to be medicated to have those things to change. But some things, if you are taken out of the environment and if you are shown the right level of love, then a lot of those things just go away. They just dissipate.
Agreed.
So I just wonder, like, what you're telling your students now, and you're able to identify that they're having these issues and these problems and these things that they're having a hard time dealing with, and they're coming with you. It says to me that you have morphed into that person, into the one that they can come to, that they can talk to, and you have healed. So now you're okay with being
Hmm.
okay, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so if that's the case, you're able to share this in yoga. How exactly do you do that?
So the way that I teach yoga is meditational yoga.
Okay.
A lot of people think of yoga and they think power, hot, or core, and that is not me. I got some damaged tendons. I got some damaged joints. My body don't contort like that.
Mm-hmm.
I teach mental health specifically. So a lot of my classes are slow paced. You're
Okay.
only doing anywhere between 10 and 15 poses in an hour. Most yoga classes are 40 poses in an hour, sometimes
Wow.
60 poses in an hour. I am so slow. I'm moving like a snail.
That's a lot of poses. I mean, I would feel like I'm in what is that? Like an anime or something where you mean all
Yeah.
twisted up and flip around. Mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I don't need that. I
Yeah,
was I
I've
was
gone
injured.
I've gone to a few and I was like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I do yoga and I'm dying. This is a lot. And then, sometimes it's the hot yoga where you're sweating your whole skin off. And but no, to answer your question specific to answer your question specifically, um all of my classes are slow paced.
Okay.
I work with your mind. I
Mm-hmm.
work with your mind first. And when we control our mind, we can control the body to follow because the head leads the body.
Okay.
When you decide to take a step, your foot moves. When you decide to stop, your body stops. The
That's right.
brain and the mind control the body.
Okay.
When we control that part of ourselves, nothing else interrupts us.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else can stop us from being able to balance it all. So
Okay.
that's where I start. That's what I do. And if you want to do like a quick 5-second meditation at the end, I would gladly love to walk you through.
Absolutely. So you also had me running back to my I should say my roots, my education, South Carolina State University. I have a dual degree in electrical engineering and physics. When you
Ooh.
said Om, you took me back there because Om also represents resistance when it comes to electric current. It's either going to keep it from flowing or it's going to allow it to flow. And when you said it,
Yeah.
I was like, yes, yes, yes. So with that, I also was a tennis player. Well, was. I still play tennis now. I play
Okay.
in tournaments, I try to play at least 3 to 4 times, a year in a tournament, and I play USTA.
Mm,
And one of the things that I know just about athletes in general, majority of it is mental. If you got mental toughness, you can go out there and beat anybody because you can see some of those little teeny tiny wrestlers going out there beating some of the biggest wrestlers because the big wrestler thinks, oh, I got this because, I'm bigger than they are. But they don't realize the fight that the smaller person has and the mental, ability, the mental strength that they have. And
mm.
they'll lose every time to someone who's stronger, mentally. So do you like gear your classes towards certain types of people, or is it just anyone, anytime, any place?
I specifically work towards people. My target audience is usually between the ages of 20 52 to about 45, because that's usually the people who are in the middle of societal stress. Usually people over 45 are like, I'm relaxing, I'm minding my business, I'm at home, you
I'm on
know.
45.
Right.
I'm stressed out, but I'm
I
on
don't got no
45.
stress, I'm good. But I don't mind working with anybody that wants to come with me, anyone who wants to join and learn how to balance their mind and balance their thoughts. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. I'm like, more the merrier. So I don't specifically tell people who can and can't come. It's everybody that can come, whoever wants to.
Okay, and what did you say the name of your business is?
So my name of my business is Celestial Lotus Studio, and I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. And you said you're going to have a brick and mortar, business soon.
Yeah.
However, you do offer online.
Yep.
Okay. So where would they go? Is it celestiallotusflower.com or what is your website?
So my website is
Mhm.
www.celestiallotusstudio.com. And I do have classes coming up soon.
Okay. And you always have people that wonder if yoga is safe for pregnant women, because that's going to be a question you get. And I know you said you're on the slow pace, and I probably would love it because, I'm all beat up and
Yes.
everything too. But I would be interested to, join a class to know more about it. And then, like you said, you're going to do 5 minutes at the end. So that means
Yes.
I get to see what it's like.
Absolutely.
All right. So is there anything else that you would like to share or anything that you would like to like offer any advice to someone who has gone through a similar trauma as you and how you used yoga to help you heal?
Hmm. I mean, there's so many words I can say. Like, I can say a lot,
Okay.
but I think I would narrow it down to you are exactly where you need to be right here and right now.
Okay.
There's something called a soul contract,
Mhm.
which is the contract that you agreed with God to be here on earth. Some people don't believe it, some people do. I personally do.
Mhm.
And that relates to everything that has happened was already meant to happen.
Mhm.
And everything that will be will already be.
Okay.
And so that's why it's okay with being okay, because everything's already pre-written. No matter what happens, you will always end up exactly where you're supposed to be, as long as you trust and believe not only in yourself, but also believe in God and believe in your perseverance to push through and to get exactly where you need to be. As long as you stay on that path and stay exactly focused, and sometimes you may fall off, but if you get back up and you walk that path and you say, I'm going to stick to this because I know this is what I want, and I know that this is where I'm supposed to be, and I know that this is what makes me happy,
Mhm.
then everything will work out.
You just described exactly what God was talking about in Jeremiah when he said, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you. It's like it's already predetermined. It's
That's what
not
a soul
something that,
contract is.
yeah, it's not like we just gonna come up here and be like, well, Lord, I want to be a millionaire now, but no, you won't be a millionaire now. You've got to go through these things before you become a millionaire, so that when you become a millionaire, you can teach other people that this is how you got here. It doesn't happen overnight. These things just don't drop out of the sky. For some people, they do. Like that guy who won, what was it, almost $2 billion, in the lottery in California. I was like,
Whoa.
yes, you know how wonderful that would be. But he
Yes.
signed a heck of a contract. I mean, can I go back to God and renegotiate, my contract?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That
I'm
soul
serious.
contract was already pre-written, like, yes, sir, here you go. But I something else I want to add, like a little side note. Some people will say, oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had somebody else's life. Never,
Mm-mm.
ever say that you wish you had somebody else's life.
No.
Wish for your own life to be a certain way.
Right.
Because when you're wishing for someone else's life, you're taking on their struggles.
Right.
You're taking on their problems. You're
Mhm.
taking on every single thing that they've gone through in the background. So never ever wish to have someone else's life, because you don't know what kind of quote unquote demons they
Mhm.
have been suffering with. So never ask that for yourself. I'll always ask what you want in your life. And I am not a journal person, but I'm a sticky note person. Write it down and make it plain.
That's
Write
right.
down, dear God, I want X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
How do I do this? And then just be patient.
Hmm. And see,
Okay.
the interesting thing is, I just got these books. I bought
Yeah.
8 of them, and they're all different colors. And I said I was going to fill them up because I'm not consistent when it comes to
Yeah.
journaling and writing. And I've only had this maybe 2 days, and you see, I've already filled up 6 pages. It's like,
Wow. Yeah.
oh, it's like, what's really going on? What should I have been doing? And that truly resonates because think about it. When everybody remembers, Kobe Bryant, how he, courted his wife, Vanessa.
Mhm.
And everybody was, oh, I wish I was her. I wish I had her life. Never in a million years would she have imagined burying her husband and her daughter at the same time, at the
Yes.
prime of their lives. So
Yes.
yeah, you do have to be very careful about what you're wishing for and what you're asking God for when all you have to really do is have that relationship with him, and everything that concerns you, if you're able to give it a sound, it concerns him. So why not just, like you said, write it down and talk to him and watch things change? Because
Mhm.
even though my life isn't exactly how I want it to be, it's pretty good right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel so much more peace, and the stress that I had is like stress. What's stress?
Right.
Sure, I
Right.
have stress on my body, from not exercising, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
but not the mental stress anymore. That's all.
Yes. The
So,
mental stress has slowly dissipated for me. I
mhm,
think because I'm still young and I'm still learning my way through
mhm,
life because I'm only 32.
mhm,
I'm still learning my way through life and I'm still kind of stumbling as I go.
mhm,
But I always remind my students, you're human.
right.
You're a spirit having a human experience. You're supposed to struggle. You're supposed to go through these things so you can learn. You have to learn. It's nothing is going to happen unless you learn.
Okay.
Everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen.
Okay.
It's called what I'm explaining is called the art of suffering.
Okay.
It's a Buddhist mentality.
Hmm.
And the art of I've narrowed it down to like a westernized understanding because we're in the West, we're in America, so
Right.
we're explaining it differently.
Hmm.
But the art of suffering is explained as such.
Hmm.
Everything that happened was supposed to happen because it is true. And if everything was good, you would never know what bad is. And if
Right.
everything was bad, you would never know what good is.
That's right.
Kind of like yin and yang.
Hmm.
They swirl, they intertwine, they have to happen in unison.
Hmm.
Chaos and balance are intertwined.
Right.
So you have to have the duality of both.
Hmm.
If you're stuck over here, you can't see what's going on over there. If you're
Right.
stuck over there, you can't see what's going on over here. You
Right.
have to have dual vision. You
Hmm.
have to have both sides.
Hmm.
And so when you learn from the negative things that happen,
Hmm.
the positive things get easier. When you learn from the positive things, the negative things get easier. They're balanced in between, they're connected.
Hmm. Girl, you dropping all kind of gems, especially for relationship advice.
this
Think
is
about it. You
this
know
is
how,
life learned. This is all life lessons.
oh yeah, but you know how like you'll hear women say something, or guys, just say somebody that's dating somebody, you'll hear them say, "Oh, well, I'm in a situationship and I'm going through this." Don't realize that once you get them out of the way, there was somebody waiting over here that you
Yep.
had no idea that they were waiting for you because you're
Right.
too busy dealing with all this foolishness. You got to let this
Right.
go in order to get this. So,
Absolutely. And that is why, side note, as a woman, I believe in dating.
mhm.
And I believe in dating with transparency and say, hey, I like you, but
But
I'm dating and I'm here and I'm single and I'm trying to get to know people and I'm networking. And if me and you do not work romantically, then we can be platonic friends. And I have no problem with that. And I had to learn how to do that too. I
mhm,
think also that we as women, if we're talking about that, I think we latch on to relationships because we don't like being alone. And I think that we struggle with that. And that is also, it goes back to meditation. It goes
Right.
back to yoga. You got to learn how to you got to learn how to be okay with being okay. And that's why I say that, because people will say, oh, I'm lonely. You're not lonely. You're never alone. Take yourself out on a date. Buy yourself flowers. Go to a restaurant by yourself. Go to movies by yourself. Take yourself shopping.
Yeah.
Be your own lover. So that way you can teach yourself, this is how I want to be loved in a relationship. And when that man shows up and he sees you doing those things and he's like, well, where are you at? Oh, I'm at a movie. Where are you at? I'm at lunch. Where are you at? I'm at a cafe. He's like, well, dang, can I join in? And then he'll learn how to love you as you are loving yourself.
Right.
And that is something else that I learned. So to the women out there, girl, cheers to being single. Cheers to loving yourself, and cheers to having a grand old time, okay?
Look, ladies, y'all better write that down, because that was some serious, serious knowledge, some good, good information. That was truly a gem.
Yes.
All right. So if you don't have anything else, I would love for you to start this guided meditation. Is there anything
Woo-hoo.
special that I need to do? Or like, could you give us instructions and then we go into it? That way, when people are watching it, they can join in as well.
Okay, I'll try to instruct you.
Okay.
It's really simple. You don't need to do anything.
Okay.
All I recommend is to find a chair or sit on your bed,
Okay.
or if you're even if you're in your car watching this, just sit still for a moment. Close your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. We're going to hold it. We're going to count to 4, 2, 3, 4, and exhale out the mouth with a ah. 2, 3, 4, and inhale one more time. 2, 3, 4, and exhale with an ah. 2, 3, 4. One more inhale. 2, 3, 4, and exhale one more time. 2, 3, 4. Now that we've gotten the blood running, we're going to focus our thoughts on our breath. It should be slow and deep. Take your time to center yourself, balance your body, allow your body to relax. You may lean back if you like. You may loosen your legs. Take the tongue off the roof of your mouth. Lower the jaw. Relax the jaw. Relax your hands. Relax your fingers. Relax your toes. Wiggle your toes. Just allow your body to be a body. Don't use your muscles right now. We just want to just be centered around our souls. As we are in this moment, we are thinking about positivity. We're thinking about vacations and margaritas, being on the beach. Yeah, look at you smile. It makes you feel happy about the sun on your skin and the sand in your toes and the smell of the ocean and the sounds of the waves just crashing on the shore. Doesn't that feel nice? I bet you that margarita tastes delicious, doesn't it? And as we're in this moment, we're just being happy and just being at peace. The sun is beautiful, the sun is bright. You feel relaxed, you feel happy. It's just you and God right here in this one moment. Focusing on our breath, focusing on the way we feel, not allowing our thoughts to travel us anywhere else but right here in this moment. Deep breath in through the nose. Inhale and hold. And exhale. Inhale in the nose. And exhale. One more time in the nose. And exhale. And just be still for a moment. and come back whenever you're ready.
I was gonna say, do I have to come back?
You don't have to. You can sit there
That
for a little
feels
bit
so
longer.
good.
You felt tingly, right? It
Yeah,
felt
because
like
even
tingly.
though I don't drink at all, when you said like beach, I imagine myself actually at a resort. And it was beautiful. I was just like, oh, I need this. This is what I
Yes, absolutely. And you can travel back to any place. You can go to the mountains, you can go to the beach, you can go, I don't know, wherever else you'd like to be. Somewhere up in Cancun, wherever you want to be.
need.
Take yourself and meditate in that one space and see yourself in that space. See it like it's a movie. You're an actor in the middle of that movie. See yourself in there. Feel that emotion, feel that thought, and that is how you meditate. You could also try the Om experience, and I love that. Oh, I love the Om experience because it really, really centers you. I would say for the people who really, really struggle with imagination and viewing themselves in a location,
Mhm.
Om, by saying Om, you Om. You do that long, deep Om like that,
Mhm.
and you're focusing specifically on the sound of Om.
Mhm.
When you're focusing, the other thoughts just drop off.
Mhm.
So I usually start my students off with an Om, but you have meditated before.
Mhm.
So because you've meditated before, I talk you to the beach because why not be at the beach? But that's how you can start meditation. And you don't have to be fancy.
Okay.
Just think about something positive and be in a nice quiet space so you don't have any distractions.
Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to share before we close?
Be happy.
Absolutely.
Just even for 5 minutes. I
Mhm.
promise you'll feel better.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Look, y'all heard her. She said, be happy, even if it's just 5 minutes. Because imagine someone who's being held captive in their home or on their job, they don't even get those 5 minutes. This has been a very, very powerful episode. And Alise, I thank you so much for being so transparent and so willing to come on to share your story and to share your triumph.
Namaste to you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And to all the viewers, all the subscribers, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch this episode, episode 103, Learning How to Be Okay with Being Okay. And as always, I want you all to have an absolutely amazing day.